If there is a proper balance with an understanding, then the food becomes nourishment. If you are the desire arises for sex, you are conscious of it, you are doing it properly in a meditative way, then it will become beneficial to you. Sometimes you suddenly see a stranger and the anger arises in you. Other times you see a stranger, a person walking on the street, and a love emotion arises in you. The person has not done anything for you to be angry. There is no reason for you to feel love towards the person. You have not yet even met that person, but you feel depressed or angry or violent, and you want to express it. You want to escape from that person. Number of times it happens when we are driving with our windows up. Somebody gives a bad drive. There is an exuberance of thoughts. That person is not listening to you. That person is not listening to you at the same time. You are not able to listen to what he is saying, but it gives a kind of satisfaction to both the persons. So they say things. So, what is very important, I had given the example of Mullah Nasruddin. One day he was walking, sprinting, and shouting oaths and saying very angrily, "The devil will take possession of your spirit and beats will grow in your belly." And so on and on he was going on. So there was an onlooker asked, "Mullah, what is the matter? Whom you are cursing and with whom you are getting angry?" Mullah said, "Who, I don't know myself. But don't worry, someone will turn up sooner or later." If you are filled with anger, this happens. If you are filled with love, you will feel loving towards anyone, irrespective of if you have met that person or not. I will give you my personal experiences. You can do that. Sometimes it happened one day I was going to the store. So on the way I had to stop by one shop, and then the person who is working with me, he was there. As I come out of the shop to enter the car, there was a person who came asking for some help. I took out a $20 bill and gave it to the person. He surprised, he said, $20? Normally people are accustomed giving coins or a single dollar. It's not that I wanted to give him $20 or anything. It just happened, it came out of me to give him the $20. And I thanked him, "Thank you very much." So things like these do happen when you are overflowing compassion. Overflowing compassion, people whom I have never met, but they call, they message, they need some help along the path. So you are ever ready for that. because you know it very well that we are all part of one synergistic harmony. There is no difference. Yes, maybe I may not have met you, but if I feel deep within something that this person needs, as he asks for assistance, he is looking towards me for the assistance, and if I am in a position to help that person, I must go out of my way of doing that. So this arises in every way. You can suppress sex, then the suppressed sex becomes your whole personality. Everything you will look at, this is kind of a shade that you develop on your eyes. Everything that you see, you are looking at it with the eye of sex. Eye of sex. Everything you will find it then. Then whatsoever you look, you will see sex. You will interpret it in that way. It is said about Sigmund Freud that even if he sees a point, he will talk about that it has something to do with sex. You can suppress sex very easily, it is not difficult at all. But then sex will spread all over you to your every fiber, cell, and you will become sexual. Look at the celibates. Their mind becomes totally sexual. They dream about sex, they fight with the sex, they fight with sex, constantly they fantasize about it as well. They are obsessed. You will find many people, they are fantasizing, they have imagined it, they expect something from their spouse according to fulfill their fantasies. That which could have been natural has become perverted, and this is how the sex becomes perverted. If you suppress it, it can become, you create a chain. You suppress, you create a wound in you. I am talking about suppress without awareness. Awareness is the key factor in everything, expressing it or suppressing it. If it is in both ways, there is awareness. When you are fasting with awareness that I have to fast and I will not eat anything during, and you made a resolution, it will help you. And if you are eating on a daily basis, you are eating with awareness, you will stop, you will listen to the body, you will not eat with the mind. Number of times it happens, we see things that is looking very good, pleasing to the eyes, then what you do? You overeat. And if it is not appealing, you will never try for it. When normally the dessert is served afterwards, in a Bengali feast, the food is served in a different order. The item that will be served, it will be very ordinary, that you may not want to eat that. Then after that, a dish which is better than that is served. And in the end, the best dish is served. So I happened to be in one of the Bengali wedding. So the only thing is this, the rice and dal was served. So I took it. So the person who was sitting next to me said, "Don't worry, don't just take a little bit of this, because the best thing will be coming to the end. So if you are angry, when you feel anger is coming, be uninterruptedly aware. Do not suppress it, do not express it. Then, if I do not do it or do not express it, then what to do? There is a third thing. The third alternative is very important. That is the dimension of meditation. Take the third alternative. Be suddenly aware that anger is arising in you. Be aware that suddenly aware that anger is arising in you. This awareness changes the energy from moving as anger into a different energy. This very energy that is known as anger becomes compassion. You are not expressing it. But if you have to express it, then express it in a creative way. The anger is arising in you. What the Zen masters do, they will send you to chop the wood or something. One person used to come in meditation. He had been lacking certain things in his life. Everyone wants to dress properly and all these things, but when you do not have the resources, you do not do. So what happened? He turned Muslimin. So that kind of clothes and that thing. But you look at the face was an incarnation of anger. So I told him, he came in the morning when the office was opened at 8 o'clock. And so I gave him a cassette, and at that time we had only cassettes and a cassette player. He remained sitting down in the office. I said, keep on listening to it. He keep on listening to it until 4 o'clock, but nothing has changed. Now, he was angry towards his mother for some reasons. He did not want to see her, and whosoever meets, except with me, he was never aggressive or angry, but with everyone else he was. Nobody wanted him to be around. So when the workers saw him, they said, you want this person to be here? I said, don't worry, he won't do anything. So continued. Then I told him, I said, I want to do something. We need to create a place for meditation. And I want you to create it. He said, how do you know that I can create it? I said, don't ask me the question. I want you to make this place. We have no resources, finance or anything. The next door there is a furniture factory. They have the scrap wood. They have been throwing it. We have some cloth, and I want you to use these scrap woods and the cloth that we have. If you need for flooring, I'll get you a sponge, so you make the carpeted flooring for people to sit down. And this whole space is to be divided into three. One is the section where people can come and read and so. The other main hall where the meditation sessions will take, and another for private. He said, you think I can do it? I said, I am not talking about thinking or anything. I told you to create this. And he created this. And when he created this, everybody was surprised how he did it. He blended the colors. We had the two colors, blue and white. He used the blue and white in such a way to do the inner sealing. So he said all he will need the staple gun and the staplers that will work on the wood. And it was then he started, when the workers saw, they told him, Abdul, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. And then he collected the scrap wood and made the tables and chairs for the workers. So what was happening, his anger was moving into creativity, and with that his entire personality was changing. But I realized his anger for everyone is getting creative, but at a slow pace. So I realized one thing. I said, what I want you to do something. So one day I asked him about his mother. He said, I don't want to see her at all. I said, what? He said, I feel to kill her. I said, okay, very nice. So I said, if you kill her, what will happen? He said, I don't know. I said, what I want you to do, he used to come every morning for 8 o'clock in the office. So I said, why you don't want to wear the normal clothes instead of you are using the Muslim clothes and the shoes? He said, I do like to wear those clothes, but I don't have the money. I said, okay, I will give you the clothes, the track pant and t-shirts, and you wear that. But I want you to burn these clothes. He said, burn? No, I don't want to burn these clothes. So I said, what do you want to do? You don't want to wear, you want to change it. So he remained there every day. He is keeping in his bag. But one day he said, Tao, I want to burn those clothes now. I said, okay, burn it. Then I told him, when you go upstairs, we had used some pillows for when the people sit in meditation, they can use it as a back. We had Zen stools. He made the Zen stools. I gave him the concept, how it is to be made. He made that. So I said, when you go up there, so you see any point on the ceiling, maybe you see the light, and thinking this light bulb to be your mother, you curse her. As much as you want, as much as you can. You want to beat her, beat the pillow. As much you thinking that this pillow is your mother, curse her. That's what you feel to do. You want to beat her. Yes, okay, go ahead and do. Continue to do. He said, how long it has to be done? I said, as long as you feel and you can continue, do it. Continue doing it. Then one day I told him, I said, take this knife and consider this pillow as your mother and kill her. Kill the pillow. He went there. He come back. He said, you know, I said, you killed her? He said, no, I don't want to kill her now. I said, why you don't want to kill her? He said, I don't know what happened. I don't want to kill her at all. I said, so he come back and pillow. And after that, the things change in him. He became very compassionate, and all those people who never want him to be around him, they start liking him. The gesture on the face, from an angry face, it became a smiling face. So you can allow the anger. Suddenly when it is coming, he could not bring the awareness on his own. So I had to bring, this was a Zen technique of meditation. How to allow him to express his anger so that nothing changes except something changes within him. So the same energy that was becoming anger became compassion. So when Zen masters say they go and fill the water from the well, or they chop the wood or something else. So they are consciously transforming their aggressive energy, destructive energy into creative energy. The same energy which was known as sex becomes celebration in you. If you are consciously suppressing it or consciously using it, then it will make you a totally different person. Through awareness, awareness or alertness is the alchemy that transforms everything. If that person had love and trust in me, if I tell him something to do, he will do it. He will not listen to anyone else, but he will listen to me. So there was a trust in him, and because of that trust, I could utilize that opportunity to make him, to sow the seed of awareness into him. Sow the seed of, and with that, the moment the seed of awakening is sown, it will start growing on its own, and then one day it will blossom into beautiful flowers. That's why in the barren soils of thy inner sanctum, oft do I use the manure of compassion. The one day seed of awakening I sow, with the rain of thy infinite bliss, the seed shall sprout one day. And then what will happen? The reckoning shall reap the fruit at the dawn of new awakening. This is the entire process of transformation of human consciousness. Try it. You can do it on your own. You can do it otherwise also. And when you bring alertness, awareness to any mood, it doesn't matter what is the mood, any feeling, any energy, it changes its nature and its quality. I am talking about in general. Your anger, your frustration, your sexual inhibitions, motivations, whatsoever be the mood. Sometimes your mood is very loving, other times it is very aggressive, full of anger, full of all these things. Doesn't matter. Once you bring the seed of awakening into it, it changes its nature and quality. It is never the same again. And with that awareness, a new route opens. What did I do in that person? His energy was moving in a particular direction. It could not be moved. This is a kind of a medical treatment. The energy that was the moving in a particular direction, I changed the energy, the direction of the movement of this energy was changed. The moment the direction of the energy was changed, and with that, everything becomes different. It is not going back again in the same place where it was, from where it came. It is not moving outwards anymore. Instead, it will start moving. Now, this is the very process of meditation is. First of all, your solar plexus is the one that generates the energy. It conserves the energy. So when you start saying Allahu, Allahu, your focus is on the word Allahu. It is the word Allah who is doing. No, it's effect. When you say who, feel it, say it loudly, who. There is a force on zarab, that is what is Sufi terminology is used. Your zarab should be on, like say when you exhale with the force is so strong that it goes onto your solar plexus and there is a hammering. It is known as hammering. The word who hammers your solar plexus, and in hammering it generates the energy. and in a continuously if it is done, then it connects you to cosmic energy. In your way, it may connect you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or to any other source whatsoever be your understanding of the source of energy, Allah, Bhagwan, Jesus, anywhere, it will connect you to that. So the word who is very important, and how it has to be recited, that there is a focus on your solar plexus. Continue doing this and you will see the difference. The entire direction, the energy that you used to lack in yourself is now you are have as if you have opened a reservoir of energy, infinite reservoir of energy, and it is constantly generating the energy, conserving the energy. Now, through awareness, the energy conserves. It does not move outwardly, like say the tap is not leaking, so the water is conserved. Electricity, the light switches are not on unnecessarily where it is not needed, so it is a conservation of energy. So the awareness conserves your energy, puts into creative direction, and the particular hammering on the solar plexus generates the energy. The horizontal movement is stopped. When you are getting angry or your mood comes in that you are feeling very sexual, you go into a sex act. It is a horizontal movement of the energy. You have to change the direction. Awareness, meditativeness, marakba changes the direction of the energy from a horizontal movement to vertical movement. And this is where the horizontal and vertical movements, the axis intersect one another. That is what we call in Christian terminology as sacred heart, or in Sufi terminology we call it kalb. The moment the horizontal movement and the vertical movement intersect one another, that is the point we call kalb zakir ho gaya. The heart is invoked, the heart center is invoked of this person. And when heart center is invoked, the energy is constantly generating through the particular, the kalma, Allahu, and then it is your awareness is conserving it. Heart center gets zakir. Kalb zakir ho gaya. When kalb is invoked, it pulls the energy from all the sources. It pulls the energy from the head. Head is not moving in its own way. It becomes subservient to the kalb center. I would like to tell you a parable. Once a fakir, a Sufi, used to say that someone was presented an aeroplane. It was a very small aircraft by a friend who was a king, but the man was very poor. He had never heard of the aeroplane, but he had never seen one. He knew only bullock cart. So he thought that this is a new device, a new type of bullock cart. He used his 2 bullocks to pull the plane home, because that is what his understanding was. Then he used the plane as a bullock cart, using the bullocks to pull it. He was very happy. Of course, the small aircraft worked as a bullock cart, but then by and by, just from being curious, he started studying it. Then he came to understand that the bullocks were not needed. It has a motor in it, and it was able to go by itself. So he fueled it and used it as a motor car. We continued. Then by and by he became aware of the wings, and he thought, why are these wings there? And it seemed to him that the man who has devised the machine must have been a very intelligent person, a genius. Thus, he could not have, otherwise, he could not have added unnecessarily the wings to increase the cost. The wings showed that the machine could fly also. So he remembered that the birds fly by flapping its wings. So he tried. Then the plane came on its own and it became vertical. It was through the bullock cart, it was moving horizontal along the surface of the ground. Then when he put the motor car also moving along the surface of the earth, ground, horizontal. And then as he became aware of the wings, then it became vertical. You are only aware of suppression and expression. These are horizontal movements. You are not aware of the wings that God has given to you. You have been given wings that you can soar to infinite high. You are using the mind that you have as a bullock cart. The same mind can become a motor car. Then bullocks will not be needed. It has an inbuilt mechanism, but that too will be moving horizontally. However, the same mind has wings also, but you are not aware of the capabilities that you have. The moment you are aware of the capabilities that you have, God has given to you the capabilities, you can do wonders. The purpose of the master, the purpose of the sheikh is making you aware of your potentialities, that you too can become that. Look at me, O passers-by. As you are now, I was ever. As I am now, you will be. You are destined to be once you continue your process. It has an inbuilt mechanism, and then too it was moving horizontally. However, the same mind has wings. You have not observed, that is why you don't know that it has wings and what is the use of the wings. You do not know how to use the wings to fly, but it can fly. It can move upwards, and once it moves upwards, once your energies start moving upwards vertically, the whole world is different for you. You start looking at the things at a higher angle. Now I give you example of you would have seen a particular event is taking place on the ground level, and when it is taking place at the ground level, you are at the same level where the activities are taking place. You cannot get a clear view. But those who are the news reporters and the photographers, they use different device to go higher up, and from there they start taking the pictures and reporting it. So they give you a better image of it. So all these things, the movement is vertical. The moment it becomes vertical, there is totally a change in yourself. The moral teachings are bullock cart teachings. You are very happy with that. Tantra teachings are vertical teachings. That is why all those problems are irrelevant for as far as Tantra is concerned. The energy that you know as anger, as sex, as greed, or whatsoever is nothing, just the movement of the energy along the horizontal line. Once you bring your alertness to it, you have brought it a new dimension. Just by being alert, you begin to move upward. Why? Observe the fact. When you are alert, you are always above the fact. Become alert about anything and you will find you will always be above the facts. That is the horizontal. The fact is something below, down. You are looking from the above. From a peak you are looking at it. Whenever you have witnessed something, you have moved upward. Witnessing is important. And witnessing is another dimension of awareness. Alert, aware, then witness. That's how it goes on in the trilogy. Whenever you have witnessed something, you have moved upward. You are driving the car, all of a sudden you experience a problem, you start looking into what does the mechanic do. He witnesses the problem. You tell him that this is the problem, he goes there, he turns it on, he listens to the sound, he watches everything wherever it is, so he is witnessing it. He is looking at it attentively. And if this attention is really authentic and you can be uninterruptedly aware, then the energy that was moving horizontally as anger, as sex, as violence or anything else will move into new dimension. It will come near you to the witness. Then you have started flying. And for lives and lives we have been using the device which is meant for flying only as bullock cart. That's what I gave that example. And this is the biggest problem. You have to start being aware first. Alert, aware. If you are alert about your own vehicle, you will be able to discover if there is a slightest problem with it. Then you can direct it, correct it yourself. Otherwise, you have to go to the technical person. The master is a mechanic of the innerness. He analyzes your situation, he directs you, he tells you, he listens to the sound, just as the mechanic listens to the sound. So the master analyzes you in his own way, checks your language, checks your words, checks everything. This is his own way. It cannot be explained in words because it is not the same methodology that is used for all the seekers. So it is like the MRI scan, or MRI scan is much more advanced than X-ray. So with MRI scan, he analyzes the situation of the seeker and then directs him and gives him technique to do. So only this much for this morning. Until we meet again tomorrow, take care and do have a pleasant day.